All right, how we looking? Hey, welcome everybody to Filmlites. That is the new show that I'm doing these days. I am your host, Gregory Cobrana, also known on the interwebs, YouTubes as you guessed it, baby, Handsome Cobra. And so yeah, I know it's been a while since I've been on the interwebs. But yeah, this is the first episode of the new show. So uh, please go on this fantastic voyage with me, and hopefully we will get through this without any complaints, criticisms, or thumbs down. Just all thumbs up, baby. All right. So enough of the malarkey going on. So the thing is that the reason why the reason I would consider myself a film aficionado. Like I'm not a cinephile or anything like that, but I do uh, like commercials or trailers that last basically anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes. Also, too, I just found out that they're going to be putting ads in movies for like 5 minutes before the trailers. So, and that's like the before even like the screening and stuff like that. They're doing that at like Regal Cinemas and I think Cinemarks as well. But AMC is like, no, we're not doing that. That's crazy. You're going to drive away our business. So, good on them. but yeah. So, but still, it's hard. It's really, really hard for me to sit in movie theaters these days. Yeah, the older I get, the more and more it is. Unless if I'm like with, of course, a lovely lady who's my date, and then that's a little bit different because I have to at least fake it till I make it with her. So, but with that being said, let's delve into what the topic's all about. And the movie that I picked, I actually seen this last night, and it's a hell of a show. The movie Chapter One, the new one by the director Andy Muschietti. He also directed Mama with Jamie Lannister. I'm not going to. It's like Nikolai Walder or Costa Walder, something like that. Yeah, Nikolai Costa Walder. You see, I'm butchering his name, so that's why Jamie Lannister has Jessica Chastain in it as well. So, and I just picked that movie up for like less than $5 the other day. So I figured since it is the month of Hallows Eve that I would probably do. Just starting out, do some scary movies. I will forewarn you, I'm not really into scary movies. That is really not my genre. I really fucking hate them because it's just usually low budget. The actors just suck, and I'm more into cerebral, heady stuff. But then here I am talking heady shit, and I actually liked Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War, the more popcorn movies. But I've heard good things about it. Chapter One. I remember watching the oh Jesus, the 1990 version, I think, on TV. I remember owning it on VHS, or at least my parents did, and it was like a two VHS cassette package. And so yeah, the only thing I like really remember of that, I mean, I remember John Ritter, which was like, he's badass, or was badass, rest in peace, John Ritter. But I mean, because he played Ben Hanscom, Hanscom, and I just remember him kissing the character Beverly, when they're all adults and stuff, and then fucking Tim Curry, who's playing Pennywise, he's like, kiss me, fat boy, and it's just so funny. And that's like basically, I remember that. And I remember like a scene at the very, very end where they're like fighting Pennywise or it, and it turns into a spider. And they beat it with the power of belief, you know, and happy thoughts and fucking magical rainbows or some shit. So I was like, okay, and yeah, and then I remember John Ritter when he first got back to Deary, and he was like at a fucking creek or a riverbed or something like that, and just kind of like has like a flashback or some shit, and yeah, and that's about it. But talking about the new one, It Chapter One, the Andy Muschietti, I want to say remake. It's just his version of it, and I really think I actually okay. So the reason why the title is it scary, or is it a scary movie, is because okay, I'll set the context. I'll set it up. So and just to let everyone know, this is the new show, Filmlites. So so yeah. Yeah, and this is the first episode. So yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to get clear of that in the air too. To get that you know, do a little housekeeping. But so the context I'm setting up here is that, so in the beginning, and this is going to be heavy spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, just go out, fucking rent it on Google Play or some shit for like $3 or however much it is, or you could go to your local fucking store and find it for like probably $10, you know, on Blu-ray. And but yeah, so to set up everything, the context of what I'm talking about, that okay, so in the beginning, there's Bill and George Denborough. They're brothers. Bill is the older, and George, or Georgie, excuse me, is the younger. Well, it's raining and stuff, and Bill is he's sick, and so but Georgie wants to go play out in the rain and all this jazz. So Bill makes him a boat, a paper boat. And then next thing you know, well, he's, you know, the paper boat's going down the side of the sidewalk, and then it lands into one of the drains, sewer drains. And then, you know, if you've seen the trailer, you know, you see Pennywise say, "Hiya, Georgie," you know, all that crazy shit. And so that's so yeah, I mean, you have like this, I mean, what's supposed to be a creepy fucking clown, and I'm not big into clowns either, but you know, this creepy ass is supposed to be a creepy clown. Now, let me put more context into it. Now, I watched this like late at night, like before I went to bed, and I had like all the lights off. My dog Watson was with me; he was watching it too, and so, you know, everything, you know, set the mood and stuff, you know, scary, spooky, ooh, you know, ooh, shit. And yeah, so set the mood, everything going. And the next thing you know, okay, so basically, you know, Georgie introduces himself into fucking Pennywise, because he's like, "Ah, why am I supposed to talk to strangers?" And you know, Pennywise, "Well, I'm Pennywise, and what's your name?" And he's like, Georgie's like, "Okay, so we're not strangers anymore. Pennywise, Georgie, Pennywise. See, we're friends. We're friends now, you know. I'm no stranger, you know." So he yeah, so Pennywise is just being, you know, kind of goofy and silly and, you know, all this shit. And then Georgie's like, "Well, you know, hey, I gotta go, you know, it's getting kind of late." And he's like, "Well, don't you want your boat?" You know, it's like he's like, "Bill will kill you if you don't bring it back." And Georgie's like, "Oh, well, that's true." And then so Georgie goes out to reach for it, and next thing you know, total spoilers, fucking Pennywise opens his gaping mouth, and there's like all this like massive amounts of rows of teeth, and like latches onto his fucking arm and just rips the fucker off. And I swear to Christ, seeing this like little kid getting his arm ripped off was fucking hilarious as shit, because he's just like, "Ah!" and this motherfucker's bleeding and shit, and it's just ripped off. You know, you see his fucking raincoat. And it's like, it's just like, I'm like, bitch, somebody put a tourniquet on that shit. You know, he's gonna fucking die. You know, and then he falls down. Swear to God, he falls down, and he's like crawling on the fucking on the pavement of the road. And then fucking Pennywise, like Mr. Fantastic, no shit, grabs down, reaches out with his hand and and grabs that little fucker back and throws it and puts his ass back in the sewer drain. And it was just hilarious. Like, I was laughing my ass off. I mean, and this shit's supposed to be scary. You fucking kidding me? I mean, and then my dog Watson, he's like, going all fucking crazy and shit, barking his head off and shit, because I'm like laughing hysterically at this shit. And I have to warn you, I didn't really have like I wasn't like really tired giggles, like when you're so tired that you just start laughing hysterically at like fucking anything. I didn't even have that, and I was trying to go to sleep because I had to wake up early in the morning to go to work. But it was fucking hilarious. And then that right there, I was like, well, shit, man, maybe it says something about me, or maybe it's just like, well, this is fake. I really don't give a fuck, but anyway, which way, if you want to fucking psychoanalyze it, go right ahead, but that may have some like deep-seated fucking crazy personal issues, but I mean, it's fake, so it doesn't really fucking matter. but yeah, it's just, I just found it funny. I mean, because the kid, the way he was acting and shit, it was just so fucking hilarious to me. And if I watched the movie theater, I probably would have burst out laughing too. That's just fun. That's just me, and I'm just like bursting out laughing and shit, and like, that's fucking cool. But yeah, and that just set the tone of the movie for me. And I was like, all right, well, this is going to be a fun fucking ride, I guess. So, and then we get in, and then it jumps to a year later, and it's summer again. Now this was so the setting was 1988, the summer of 1988, and then it jumps to 1989, and then we have basically Bill, like the last day of school and stuff like that, and the local bully, I think his name's Henry Barrows, or Bowers, yeah, Henry Bowers. He's basically coins, kind of like the Losers Club and stuff like that. He's like, you're all a bunch of losers, and stuff like that. And then calling all these kids, what is it? Bill, Stanley, Eddie, Richie, and Ben doesn't show up right away, and Mike doesn't either. Beverly shows up later too. So, but yeah, those four off the bat are basically kind of the or the beginning, the catalyst for the Losers Club. And then Ben Hanscom, he's not from there originally. He's not from Derry, Maine. I don't know if they say where the fuck he's from. But yeah, and then Beverly is Beverly Marsh. She is a person who more or less, there's like rumors floating around that she's very promiscuous girl and stuff like that, and which is basically total fabrications. It's just popular kids bullying her and teasing her and stuff like that, especially female popular kids. And she's lives with a single parent father and stuff like, and I'll get more into that later. But yeah, and then Mike Hanslow is his parents died in a fire. He's homeschooled by his grandfather, who is, I believe, owns cattle and sheep as well, a farm. And so he's like he's not a butcher, but he has like a slaughterhouse, and he basically gives fresh meat to the butchers and stuff like that of the town. So he provides most of the meat for the town of Derry and stuff like that. So, but Mike is homeschooled because there's they don't really touch on this too much. I mean, I know in the book they touch on more that Derry is, there's a lot of racism in Derry, and Pennywise was like a big, in the book, Pennywise is a big influencer of that racism, and because before Pennywise would go after, instead of children, to feed on fear, he would go after adults first. When he first crash landed on a fucking meteor, I think, from space, and he took the form of Pennywise the dancing clown because he liked it the most. I think that's what it is, if I'm remembering correctly. But now I'm kind of going off on tangents. Pardon me. But yeah, so Bill, so I can't remember what happens, but Bill, so the Losers Club, so Bill is like, listen, look, it's like everybody's kind of forgotten about that there's like, there's a girl, Betty Ramscombe, something like that, who goes missing, and then it kind of triggers something in Bill's brain about his own brother Georgie, and basically, and he's been doing all this. Oh yeah, and Bill's been kind of doing all this research too, that kind of using his dad's, because I guess his father is a public works supervisor or managerial position. So he takes like his father's maps and stuff, and basically says, hey, Georgie could have went down the drain, the sewers, if not, because he thought he went down something else. They could have been something else, but then he figures out, well, if I checked there, he's not there, then he must be in the sewer system. His body could have went down in the sewers, and so a lot of the adults of Derry are just fucking assholes, and his father is just like telling him to quit, stop it. Georgie's gone, Georgie's dead, blah blah blah, yada yada. Now I don't know at this time if the adults know. Here's what's fucked up, and this is the thing that I didn't say too. Okay, so this is like, so there's a thing called Chekhov's gun. Okay, it's a phrase in film where it's a literary term. Well, because there was this writer Chekhov, and basically, and I've probably said this before, but it bears repeating, that if a gun shows up at the beginning of a book or a story, visual or auditory or scripted, the motherfucker needs to go off, has to go off, basically, before the story ends. Because then it's just like, okay, then it's a red herring. Then why the fuck did you put it in there in the first place, right? So here's the thing about like Georgie. Like, there's an old woman that sees Georgie going down, looking in the sewer drain, and she sees this shit happen to Georgie. And there's like a pool of fucking blood, like when Georgie's body's taken by fucking satanic Mr. Fantastic, fucking Pennywise, demonic ass motherfucker. And she sees like a pool, and this old bitch knows some shit. You know what I'm saying? She knows something about this. And her cat's just fucking like, because she has a cat there too. And she just fucking, and and we never see the old fucking saddlebag ever again. That's what's fucking crazy. So that's like, so that her would be like a reference to Chekhov's gun, right? Because like she shows up at the very fucking beginning, like the first like 5 or 10 minutes of the fucking movie, and we never see the dumb lady again. Like, the kids don't go and investigate the house. The fucking, like, the Losers Club, they don't go investigate anything. She doesn't come forward. We don't see the old fucking saddlebag ever again. Not even in fucking deleted scenes, man. So it's kind of like, what the fuck? Why did you even have this old bitch here? Other than for the audience to have some type of fucking understanding that, yeah, there's some twisted and fucked up shit that that the audience is getting, you know, the sense that there ain't all fucking, you know, sunshine and fucking rainbows and happy thoughts. You know, there's some sick twisted shit going on, but you know, for like character development for the children, it's fucking nowhere to be seen. And that's what kind of pissed me off about the movie a bit. But I'm not going to go into like every fucking detail of the movie. I just kind of wanted to start off with the reasons why I like the reason why I thought I'm questioning whether or not it's scary. So the thing now, I will say there is like one part where I kind of like got my ass a little bit, where it was is this part. So we finally get there was I'm jumping a little bit here, but just to finish up with the Bill stuff, because it ties in with Bill taking his father's maps and stuff up the city and all that jazz. So the Losers Club finally develops. Now in the book, Mike is the one who's kind of like the more historian person of Deary. But in the movie, Ben is, because he's not from there, and so he's the one that learns about the history and stuff. And also too, I kind of liked it because Ben like New Kids on the Block, you know, and shit, and it was kind of cool because Beverly actually signed his yearbook and stuff like that. Because I think they're in middle school, if I'm not mistaken, and I think they're like in 8th grade. They're going into high school, and so Beverly sees that nobody signed this dude's fucking Ben's yearbook, and so she signed it and put like some hearts there and stuff, and yeah, and for him and all that jazz. Because and he also had like a Walkman in with the headphones, and she was like, "What are you listening to?" So she takes she's like, "Oh, nothing, just." And he was listening to New Kids on the Block, and I can't lie, man. I listened to New Kids on the Block too, man. I was a big, you know, down in Walbert. He was the man back in the day, you know. He just was hanging with the wrong crowd. We all knew he was badass, but you know, he just hanging with the wrong crowd. That's all, you know. Some fucking fugazis, but yeah. So and then yeah, and so they had the nice little they start build, and in the movie they build on that rapport, you know. And it's kind of cool that Beverly actually knows who the fuck New Kids on the Block is, you know. So and because Beverly's like more this like tomboyish girl, but you find out why she's that way later on, which, like I said before, I'll explain. But yeah, so we're getting to the point where Bill finally forms the ragtag team of the losers and stuff like that. And oh yeah, because Henry Bowers, like he actually fucking cuts an H into Ben's side at I think it's Lover's Bridge or something like that. And basically, I mean this motherfucker is like, he's like a sadistic son of a bitch, man, the Henry kid. And yeah, because he was gonna write his whole fucking name in that boy's flesh on his belly. But Ben had some balls, because Ben fucking kicked that motherfucker and like fell back and started tumbling down and shit down the back of the bridge. And fuck me, man. I mean, and oh yeah, this is when the losers they go looking for Georgie in the sewer system, and the Betty girl, because Bill was like, hey, listen, look, if Betty's missing, then Georgie, then she probably may know where Georgie is, so they're both missing, so maybe they're both, you know, held in the same place and stuff like that. And I gotta tell you, man, I mean, I do like the character of Bill, because Bill is like, man, that kid, and the kid who played him, his name's Jaden something. I mean, he was a good actor, man. He was a good actor. I like that. He was very good. And you know, Bill has a stuttering problem, and man, I don't know if that kid Jaden stutters in real life, but man, he played that shit good. Like I know people. I used to have I used to know some people who had like stuttering problems, and they would stutter really bad, and they would like, and just like, and it's no joke. I mean, it was kind of funny, but it's like, you all right there, man? I was like, yeah, no, 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 it's like, I'm good. And it's like, so I'm like, all right, cool, But yeah, so I used to know dudes who had those problems when it came to stuttering stuff, and now my camera's just being crazy. Oh, there we go. But yeah, so yeah, the kid who played Bill, man, he was good. I mean, I give him like a lot of credit for playing a good role. And I like the character Bill because he was that foundation of hope, He never that's like Richie is kind of like the wisecracking kid, and he's the kid, and the kid who plays him, I think his name is Finn Wolfhard. He's the one who plays Mike in Stranger Things. But Eleven's boyfriend and stuff like that. And he's totally different. Acts totally different in Stranger Things and here. Like, he's like a wisecracking mofo, like just like sarcastic ass, just like motherfucker. At times he has foot and mouth disease, puts his foot in his mouth, and it's just fucking great. It's like, that's like so different than his character Mike from Stranger Things. I mean, it's, you see that dichotomy, the difference. I like the duality of that. Man, that's a really good actor, because I didn't really see fucking Mike from Stranger Things. I actually saw Richie from It Chapter 1, and that was cool. But yeah, and so he says one thing about about Betty being missing, and he was like, well, she's probably dead, like everyone else. And then Bill, he's like, she's not dead, she's missing, like he stutters, missing. He's like, oh yeah. And then Richie's like, oh yeah, sorry, Bill, because he knows that his younger brother Georgie is missing too. So, and that's like really cool, man. That kind of like pulled at the heartstrings a little bit, for me, when seeing the character of Bill just kind of, even at the end, like where he's like losing hope. I mean, he still has that little shred of hope, because him and Richie like get into it, because Richie says, because he says, your brother's dead, there's nothing you can do, and he's like, man, take that shit back. And he's like, no, I won't. And then he just punches the fuck out of Richie. And let me tell you something, if my little brother was missing and some asshole, I don't care if he's my friend or not, he would have said some shit, I'd probably cold cock his ass too. I'd be like, take that shit back, man. That ain't right. Even if he is dead or not, that ain't right. Fucking, that's just, you don't say that shit, especially to your friend, And when he's like the most positive motherfucker of the whole Losers Club, I mean, the leader, the captain, and you're fucking depending on him to right the ship. It's like, holy fuck, man. And so yeah. But yeah, I like I said, I mean, the character of Bill, and the actor, the kid who played him, really good. I mean, that was like really good. Also too, the actress who played or actor who played Beverly, she was really good. Everybody was great. Ben, the child actor who played Ben was good. I mean, Mike was good. Everybody was good. Stanley was good. Even the bully, and Henry, what was it, Bowers? He played a fucking hell of a fucking bully. I mean, I was like, yep, I used to know pricks like that back in the day too. Yeah, I used to know a few. And so yeah, it's like I can't like, the acting wise, I mean, it was spot on. It was just it's just certain things that just made me just like laugh my ass off. But yeah, getting back to like the Pennywise, the thing that kind of got me about Pennywise was like they have this projector, like ones that you would have like in fucking school and shit with slides. And so, because Ben has been like doing all this research and shit about like way back in the day when Deary first started out, when the first settlers came, it was actually a beaver trapping camp and stuff like that. And even before then, you learn that Native Americans actually coexisted in this place, so, or lived there, but they left because of the Pennywise, because of it, and before it became Pennywise and stuff like that. So, and they just moved outside of Deary. But yeah, so, but yeah, but the projector stuff. So you're looking at like a map and stuff like that of Deary, and like how, like, there's also another one that's overlaid with like graphs and stuff of like the sewer systems and the public works and stuff like that. Basically like a grid map. And it's very fascinating. And then you see, and then all of a sudden you see there's like, as well, there's slides of home film slides of the Denboroughs, Bill's mother, father, and his younger brother Georgie, and the shit just goes out of control. It just goes, it just goes crazy, and basically Pennywise is taking it over and stuff like that. And then you see like the mother, her hair's like, because she's a ginger, her hair turns fucking, her hair's like swoosh in her face, and then it goes faster and faster, it slides and shit goes out of control, and then she turns into fucking Pennywise, and the kids are like, fucking turn it off, and then fucking Mike kicks the damn thing projector, and I guess he thought that kicking it would turn it the fuck off, but apparently it didn't do it anything like that, so it's just still going, and the next thing you know, it gets so fucking fast that Pennywise actually gets the fuck out, comes out of the damn projector, like the screen, the sheet, and just fucking, and just raw, and I was like, oh shit. I mean, it fucking even got my ass, because at that point I was just kind of, I don't want to say I was dozing off, but I was just, all right, what the fuck's going on now? I'm like, oh shit, Pennywise, holy fuck, he got all big and shit. And that was more or less a point of where I think that was a 3D, that was like one of the last ones that you could watch in 3D movies. Now, that was probably like a 3D effect, whereas those of you, oh, in your face, wow, Pennywise, all that craziness, which I hate 3D movies. I can't stand it. It kills my eyes. But yeah, so that, and then so that happens, and then like the last thing that I really liked about the movie, because I'm going to get in my negatives too. And so one of the last things I actually liked about the movie is that Beverly Marsh's arc in it, where it's like, and like I said before, now I'm going to start talking about it, about like Bev's arc in it. So like I was saying before, she has had around school campuses having like this very promiscuous, being a very promiscuous person, labeled, for instance, and which is very fabricated. It's just, females and males picking on her, because her father is a maintenance worker and stuff like that, and she comes from like I said, a broken home, and her dad is like, literally, they don't show it, but you can tell that her dad is sexually abusing her, raping her, and because he's always fucking touching her, just like real creepy. And even in the book, like they touch on it more, that her dad is not, I mean, how the fuck can you do that to your own daughter, man? That is like, that son of a bitch need to be put down a long fucking time ago. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fucking yeah. It just that shit just gets my fucking blood boiling because that's just you don't do that. That ain't right. That ain't right. And that was just kind of, I mean, now that type of shit, like you want to talk about like just cringe word, just cringy and just making me not want to watch shit like that. Yeah, that's where I was just like, man, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, and so yeah, but because he's always saying some shit like, hey Bevy, you're still daddy's little girl, aren't you? It's like, and you see Bev, like when she's with like the loser, she's very like confident, very sure of herself, you know, very feminine and all that shit. Like she's happy to be a fucking female, right? But when she gets home, fucking, and her dad starts doing this like pedo shit, it's like you see her like fucking turn like a fucking dime, like into just very fucking self-conscious and just fucking, just he fucking destroys her, man. And I'm just like, what the fuck? But let me tell you, huge spoilers, because he does this shit like twice or three times or some, because the last time this motherfucker does that, Bevy, are you still dating? And he's like, I heard you've been hanging around a lot of boys, and I know what they got in their mind and all this other shit. And she's like, listen, look, it ain't like that. We're just friends, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And he's like, and he grabs her fucking arm because he's like, hey, where you going? Because I guess, she put on some makeup or something, and he's like, and also too, to look more like a guy or more masculine, she cut her fucking hair, short. And even her dad remarks about that in an earlier scene. It's like, you look like a boy. It's like, yeah, because you're a fucking perv, man. You're fucking sexually assaulting, sexually abusing your daughter, you fuck. And and so he fucking, so he's grabbing her arm and basically like restraining her like very hard, and he's saying this bullshit about, are you still days? And she's like, no. And I'm like, fuck yes. And he's like, what'd you say? She's like, I'm not your fucking girl. And she fucking beats the fucking shit out of his ass, like punches the fuck out of him. I'm like, damn right. And then she goes running into the bathroom, and then fucking she goes into the shower, and fucking, and her dad basically, because she closes the door and locks it, fucking gives her time to grab a fucking object, which I believe is the top of the fucking toilet bowl, the porcelain part. Fucking, let me tell you something. Like, this motherfucker kicks open the door, the shower curtains all fucking, pulled over. He pulls the shower curtain, and she just whacks that motherfucker right in the head, and he just fucking blood just fucking, he fucking drops like a fucking sack of goddamn potatoes. And then fucking blood is just pooling out, of his fucking head. And I was like, that's right. You fucking do that to that dude, that pervy son of a bitch. Hell, kill him twice for me. Shit, I don't give a damn. And yeah, and she just runs the fuck out of there, man. Because I believe she was supposed to meet Bill, and they were supposed to go to the house where they believe Pennywise is nesting at. That's his domain. And which is like this real creepy house, which you can't fucking miss it. I mean, it's the most eerie fucking house that has like twisted trees and shit. Looks like something from like Sleepy Hollow, Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. But yeah, I was so happy, and she killed that motherfucker, and I was like, hell yeah, that guy never gonna lay another fucking hand on you. That son of a bitch. I was happy for her. Fuck, it's like that's and then I'm like, and I was like, damn right, and Watson, he's going ruff, 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 ruff. He's going all crazy and shit, just like, what's going on, Dad? What are we doing? Yeah, because Watson, because that's like the second time Watson got all fucking, he was like, oh, what's going on? Let's get the sons of bitches. I'm out to calm him down, like, no, we're good. And yeah, man, I was fucking excited when she killed that motherfucker. And so yeah. But yeah, that's like pretty much the last thing that I actually really liked about the movie. Uh, so yeah, Georgie getting his fucking arm bit off and him just crawling. That was funny, and that was great. The acting was really solid, really good. And then Beverly's father getting his just desserts. It was fucking great. I really enjoyed that. Now going on to the cons, the things I didn't like. One of the things that I really didn't like about is that some when it started out, a lot of Stephen King properties have problems with they're shot real shitty. Like The Stand, fucking the original It, like the lenses that they use. I mean, it's low grade shit, and I don't know what the fuck it was about the beginning, but it felt like a made for TV movie. Because you have to understand with film, there's certain like lenses that they use that give it that and filters and stuff like that give it that movie magic touch, that make it feel like a cinematic experience where it's not like this right here, or like soap opera television, right? Because it's a certain lens that they use that and it's high dollar shit. That's why some cameras cost like 10 grand a day to fucking use, or renting them out, or 10 grand a week or so. To like Kevin Smith, he did that when he made Clerks. And so I mean they're really fucking expensive because only the thing about film is just moving pictures, just going at a rapid pace. That's it. I mean, and that's why they always call it a picture show or moving pictures, stuff like that back in the day. Uh, so, but now everything's like pretty much digital, so it's a little bit different. But still, film is film. I mean, but it felt just the shots in the beginning. It really took me out of it in the beginning, where I was just like, oh shit, this is another fucking like made. I mean, it felt like it at first. It was starting to feel like really made for TV, like Lifetime shit, or like the back in the day seemed like, I don't know about this shit. And some of the CGI I had problems with, like the teeth of Penny when he sunk his teeth into Georgie, like that first CGI shot, or like the noticeable CGI, really jarred me a good bit, and it just kind of took me out of it because I rewind it twice because I thought it was so fucking funny. I rewind it twice, but the second time viewing it, like the first time I could see it, I and I wasn't really laughing because of that. I just laughed because the motherfucker had his arm ripped off and he's a little kid. But the second time I laughed, I was laughing at it a little bit because I saw how poorly the CGI was, or at least like when it came to like the teeth and mouth. Now I will say that there is good CGI when Beverly actually gets kidnapped by Pennywise or it, and she's basically saying that, hey, I'm not afraid of you. And the reason why Pennywise didn't kill her because she wasn't afraid of him, or he would have, instead of like letting her live. But then he opens basically his face, and you see three lights, which are called the dead lights, which is basically supposed to be hypnotic, and that's basically the universe. I believe that's the true form of it, and that's where Pennywise lives. Okay. And Pennywise, and the way that Pennywise was made, it's really fucking ridiculous. Because you have this turtle who's like the god, and I believe, if I remember this from the Dark Tower series and from reading what I've read of it, because I haven't finished the book, and I've only read pieces of it, and that I can really remember, that the turtle, I can't remember the turtle's name, but it burped or vomited, regurgitated it out of itself. I guess it had a bad fucking cold, and just, the mucus from that just fucking getting all the bad shit out became it. So you could look at it like as an analogy for the turtle and the world on its back as good, and in it being the opposite, the evil, the yin to the yang of and vice versa of the turtle. And there's actually, and you go in, and Bill goes into Georgie's room, and there's actually a turtle Lego, which is an Easter egg, which refers to the turtle I'm talking about in his room, because in the book it actually Bill actually gets like a vision, or actually goes to like the fucking spirit realm or some shit, and he actually talks with the turtle, and he's like, my name is blah blah blah, and you blah blah blah, and you are on this quest or some shit. And so and so yeah, so that was pretty cool. So that's like the deadlights, and Bev like looking into it, and Pennywise saying, well, you're not scared, you will be. And then he shows her the deadlights, and then basically now she's fucking floating up there and shit, up in the sky and stuff. And so yeah, so that just at times the cinematography was very choppy. There was parts where I was just bored as shit in it too. Like I literally bored. I mean, I was looking at how much time we had left. There was stuff that I felt like there should have been more exposition on certain things. And because I believe it was a 2-hour and 15-minute movie. And then It Chapter 2, I believe, is like 3.5, 3:45. And so it's like, well, shit, man. It's like you could have put more stuff in. Now, I've seen the extended and deleted scenes too that they did for the movie as well. And some of it, yeah, just needed to stay out. Some of it could have been left in. But at the end of the day, and there was like an alternate take and stuff, and there was like a gag one where it's like where Pennywise, instead of chomping on Georgie's fucking arm, he actually gives him the boat back, and he's like, "Okay, thank you, bye, thank you, Pennywise, bye." And then you see Pennywise still in the sewer drain. He's like, "Oh shit," which is, it's a gag opening, and I thought that was really funny too. But yeah, that the next thing. But yeah, so that, yeah, it just things just didn't. I would have liked to have seen more of them talk about the racism in Derry, and just touch on that a bit, and just kind of and get into why Mike is. I would have liked to see more Mike, honestly, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I would have liked to have seen them, because touch on more of that, because I mean he does talk about like his grandfather and stuff, and talking about certain things, but I mean it's very passerby or in passing. I mean it's just very fleeting, and it's like and if you don't listen very hard, you miss it. And even I can barely remember it, because I mean it's just one of those things that was just very passerby. I mean, it was just very in passing. And I wish they would have touched on that a bit. And because they do touch on like the Native Americans too a little bit, but once again, it's like in passing as well. Now in It Chapter 2, they actually get more into it. Now I haven't seen the movie, but I know certain details about the movie, and the one of the big negatives for me leads into It Chapter 2, which I already fucking know about, which kind of just really continuity wise does not make fucking sense. So I touched on those things I didn't like. I mean, if I'm kind of rambling, I apologize. I know we're getting too close to the hour mark here. But one of the biggest things that I had problems with is like there's like this like triangle relationship between Bill, Beverly, and Ben. And so after Beverly writes in Ben's yearbook, he actually sends a postcard, and he writes a poem on it. I think it's January's Embers. It's like January's Embers, Hair of Fire, I'm Here Too, or I'm There Too, something like that. And it's signed Secret, and it's put, he doesn't put his name, he says it's signed Secret Admirer, to Bev Marsh. Now, the whole fucking time, Beverly, I think what happened that Ben put it in her book bag or some stuff, like when they were hanging out. And so she's going through her stuff, and she reads it, and the whole fucking time, and then we find out that the only person who's ever had anything to do with physically with Bev is Bill, and he kissed her in a play, right? Because that's what, I guess it was like, fucking a middle school play, and he had to kiss her. And you hear Richie talking about this shit, and Eddie's like, "Hey, shut up, man." He's like, "But it's true. It's like they did. But Bill's like, "Listen, look, it's like then, and Bill's like, because Richie's talking about how like and he's like, "Hey, that's not true. Bev ain't like that, and then Richie's like, "Hey, what are you talking about? You're the one who got any action out of her from any of us because you kissed her in the play." And then Ben like losing, and like, "Yeah, I mean that's true," but and then Richie says some sly ass shit like, "Well, we all know what that means," It's like, and he's being a stupid like preteen teenager. Like, yeah, we don't know, you don't know shit, pal. You're a little young for that shit yet. And then so Bev thinks that it's Bill who sent her the fucking postcard, or slipped it in her book bag when they were hanging out. And then she repeats she says January Embers to him when I believe they're in the house that Pennywise lives in or some shit. I can't remember. They're somewhere. And she says January Embers. And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "The poem." And he's like, "Oh, I'm not big into poetry. I don't know poetry." And it doesn't even fucking click, man, in her brain. But she's like, but you could tell that Bev is like really sweet on Bill still, right? And then, because I have to forewarn you, Ben is a fat kid at this point. Now, when he's grown up, at least the John Ritter version, he's still kind of chunky. John Ritter put on some motherfucking weight for that role. Now, I think in the book, he is kind of, he's like one of those people where at the end of the day, because I was a chunky kid too when I was younger. I wasn't Ben size, but I was pretty chunky. Motherfuckers, I think they called me like meatball or spaghetti sauce, some bullshit, some shit. I didn't give a fuck, really, or fat boy or something like that. And this was before I played sports and stuff, but Ben, I think his psychology and psyche is like he's always a fat boy, no matter how fucking ripped and working out he does, no matter how much he diets, he's always going to be that little fat kid inside, right? And so, and that's his insecurity, right? That's his fear. So Bev, I can tell that she's not thinking of Ben, because usually, people who lack in a certain, this is the way of the world. People who lack in a certain thing, whether it be attractive or handsome or beautiful, they make it up in other qualities, right? Being book smart, or being outgoing, or or just being daring and dashing and brave and bold. It's like, just being classy or whatever. I mean, they make it up in other areas, and that's why, and that's just the way it is. And like Ben makes it up because he's really smart, and he's cultured and shit, and he's not from Derry, so it's like, that's another thing. And so he's very literate, not illiterate, but literate. And so where Bill's not, and so but then, like I was saying before, Bev is, so they're in the sewers. Bev is floating up high, and her eyes go basically white, or bluish white, because she's stuck in the deadlights, the dead light zone or area. And then so Ben with the help of Richie and Mike grabs her feet, pulls her down, and she's still fucking just out of it. And so Ben grabs her and kisses her full on the lips. And then it takes about like 5 seconds, but then Bev's like, and then she's like, January embers. And he repeats the last line like, meet me, or me, I'm there too. And they both fucking have this connection, and they smile, right? I'm like, okay. So I was like, thank Christ they fucking solved this fucking conflict, because I was getting tired of this fucking bullshit of her just not clicking, But then they go a step further, so they beat back Pennywise and fucking all this shit. And then Bev's fucking father, the fucking snake in the grass, son of a bitch, he's dead. So she goes and lives with her aunt. So she's basically, this is her last day. Because she's going in the morning to live with her aunt in Portland, Oregon. So I'm like, that's cool, right? And basically her aunt said that she can stay there as long as she fucking wants to, and which is great. And so they make this pact that, hey, that, because Ben says before that, hey, I've kind of figured it out that all these massive events that happen, I believe, are linked to Pennywise. So they make this blood oath, and is linked to like every 27 years. And he's like, hey, well, if Pennywise comes back, we make this pact. And they have us like a scar on the inner palm of their hand, and they link hands together and stuff like that. That if Pennywise isn't dead, if it's not dead, and it comes back, then 27 years from now, then we'll all come back and we'll finish the job, right? And so, after they make this blood oath, they, each individual one goes. Stanley, I think, is the first one to go. Then Eddie and fucking so on, Mike, and then who else? Richie, and then you see the last three: Ben, Bill, and Bev there, and Bev and Bill are sitting on a log next to like the riverbed or creek. And then you see, and then so Ben, he's like, well, I better get going and stuff like that. And then so he leaves, and then fucking Bev is like, well, yeah, and then she's like, hey, thanks so much for letting me be a part of the Losers Club. I never felt like a loser, when I was with you guys and stuff like that. And Bill's like, yeah, I never thought you were a loser. And then so they have like this moment, this silent moment, and then Bev's like, okay, I'll see you later, bye. And then she gets up from the log, and then fucking, and she's just walking, kind of, you can see that she's a little disappointed, right? That this is like, that it wasn't like some grandiose, I guess, goodbye. And then so what the fuck does fucking Bill do? Bill just runs up, he's like, and just fucking plants a fucking kiss on her. And then what does Bev do? She kisses that dude back. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like, well, son of a bitch. Well, what's the fuck's going on? And then, because I'm like, and that's the ending of the fucking, and they both smile at each other. And then that's the end of the fucking movie, right? That's the end. Fucking roll credits, directed by Andy Muschietti, and all this other bullshit. So then it says, then at the end it says It Chapter 1, because they were planning on doing a second one. And so, so she knows, so at this point, she knows that Ben was the one that wrote the fucking poem, and she still wants fucking Bill. Even after finding out that this motherfucker didn't write the poem, right? You know? Even after, I guess, fucking Ben giving her true love's kiss and waking her ass out of the deadlight zone, this girl still want to go fucking Bill. And I'm just like, damn, man. I mean, that's some shit. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But here's the thing where I have problems with it, because this is where it ties in with It Chapter 2. Okay. So she goes to Portland, and apparently when you leave Derry, you forget about Pennywise. I mean, everything about the Pennywise the clown, it just fucking is like, it's like a fragmented dream or fragmented memories that just you cannot put into sequence. So what happens is that she in the fucking story, or in the fucking movie, all the way up till the bitter fucking end, she still thinks that when she comes back, she still thinks Bill is the one who wrote the goddamn poem. Still. After she got confirmation that it wasn't the motherfucker, twice, when Bill says, like, I'm not in the fucking poetry, number one, and number two, fucking Ben, fucking after she wakes up from the deadlight zone, she says January Embers, and he says the last fucking line, as like a fucking a password or passcode or some shit, code word, And I'm just like, son of a bitch. So this whole fucking time, and at this time, but also too, what I'm forgetting to mention is that Beverly Marsh, she actually lives in Chicago. She, I believe, is a fashion designer, and she's married to an abusive husband. So apparently she married basically her fucking father. Because once again, I mean, apparently when you leave fucking Derry, everything just fucking, I mean, everything that you learn just boop goes out your fucking brain, and you just revert back to your childhood ways. You just regress. And that's like when they show up to Derry, it's like from my knowledge that I know of, once again, I haven't seen the movie, is that basically, but major spoilers for It Chapter 2, and when I see the movie, I'll do the follow-up, trust me. And I'll try to have no preconceived notions about it other than what I'm about to say. That they're all scared of it, or even like the mention of it, because Mike is the one that kind of calls each individual up to get the Losers Club back, and just the mention of Pennywise or it on the telephone, they regress back to that fear, that childhood fear, instead of regressing back to, instead of remembering, yeah, we conquered this motherfucker before, man, and we made this blood oath, because all of them still have the scar on it, on their hand. Until like the bitter end of the fucking story. And so, and it just really irritated me that Beverly still thinks that Bill is the one who wrote this damn poem. And then at the end, I guess she like just says fuck her husband, or divorced her husband, and her and Ben start a relationship together. After they defeat Pennywise for good, because they find a way to basically extinguish Pennywise for good, doing this Native American ritual and stuff like that. But the fucking problem is that she didn't want his fat ass when he had tits bigger than hers, back then. But now, I mean, the guy that they got to play adult Ben, I mean, his name's Jay Ryan, and he's very attractive. He's a very attractive man, you know. So she wants Ben now because he's fucking physically fit. He's a successful architect in Nebraska and stuff like that. And see, and that's the thing about it, chapter 2. Everybody's a successful person, like professionally, but personally, they have fucking like demons, man. They have these problems. I mean, they have like social problems, or just they're that like Eddie fucking tells off his mom, like, listen, look, I'm going with my friends. Finds out that he was on that the drugs that he was taking were placebos. That his mother basically because his mother has like Munchausen disease and stuff like that. And so, and she's telling Eddie she did it for his own good and stuff like that. And he basically sticks up to his mom and says, no, I'm going with my friends. He's like, you get back here. He's like, no. He's like, nah, bitch, see you later. Bye. And then goes to his friends to defeat fucking Pennywise and to get Bev back. Now, I will say that is another thing that I do see as like a trope that I will say it's plus and a minus. So it kind of negates this. But so I'll try to remember after this fucking collage of a rant that now, but like I was saying before, they all revert back. I mean, they're all successful people professionally, but personally they regress back to that total overwhelming warm blanket of fear before they even fucking defeated Pennywise. And I don't understand that shit not one damn bit. Just to mention the motherfucker. I mean, it's just like their whole brain fucking memories just bloop, just went out the fucking window, out the lunch. And so which basically you could say that, yeah, I mean, well, that's the power of Pennywise and stuff like that, the influence that he has on the people of Derry. And that's another thing too. Like, the adults of Derry are just fucking dumb as shit. I mean, they are just fucking the adults are stupid. I mean, that motherfucker could just burn up because Jesus, they're fucking dumb. Yeah, I mean, they don't really even explain it. I mean, these people are just fucking stupid. I mean, these two old people see when right before Henry Barrows is going to carve his fucking name in the bend. An old couple just drive on by Lover's Bridge, and Ben is yelling out, help, help. And they just keep on driving on by with this like real fucking just like shock of fear and twisted look in their eye. And it's like, let me tell you something, man. Even if I was like 95 years old, I would get out my fucking car and say, get your goddamn hands off that child. Oh yeah, I'd probably be packing some heat too there, bud. In my car. Hell no, I mean, shit. I mean, I'm 95 years old, but yeah, I'd be packing like Desert Eagle .50, like Bulletproof Tony and shit, like in Snatch. But yeah, I'd literally, I mean, but these old curmudgeon, I mean, it's like the fucking people, the adults of Derry have like gone soft in the head or some shit. I mean, they have like half a fucking brain, which is just so stupid, and they never touch on that. And you have to think for yourself on that one. And so yeah, that's but yeah, but like I was saying before, Eddie, he's a successful, I think he's like in the stock market or some shit. He lives in New York, and he's married to a woman who is basically his mom. I mean, he married his mother, and it's kind of cool because in chapter 2, they actually get the same actress who played his mom to play his wife in the movie, in the next one, which is kind of cool, because I mean they're all, I believe, like in their early 40s and stuff like that at this time. So but yeah, I mean it's just fucking weird, man. I mean, that's just the fucking, yeah. I just don't understand it. But yeah, yeah, I'm trying to go back to the thing that I was going to talk about, but man, I can't remember it now. Uh, but yeah, so yeah, my thing. So I'll just go back to what I was getting at before. But yeah, now Beverly and Ben get in a relationship, and it's like, yeah, but before she wanted to be with Bill, and Bill's married. You know, he's a writer in Los Angeles and stuff. His wife is an actress, successful actress. He's a successful screen movie writer and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just so fucking weird that she still would think. But then she finds out it's Ben, and then she's like, "Oh well, you know, he's so fucking hot now and attractive, and oh fucking Ben, you know, he's the man now." But back then, he wasn't because he was fat. That's what I didn't like. That's what I don't like. I don't like that shit because she should have remembered that it was fucking Ben who wrote the damn thing, wrote the poem, and not reverted back to Bill being the one, which I don't understand. And me not watching the movie, I don't even know if they explain that in it, chapter 2. But still, it's just, yeah, it's bothersome. It just really is. Because I thought we cleared this shit up. Apparently, fucking not. So that's where I have problems with continuity and stuff like that. There is one thing that I do want to get on about, and it's not a negative, and it's not a like either. I did want to get into, there is one part that they did omit from, and I'm glad they did, from the movie that's in the book. And I've read this, and I believe it's 7 or 8 pages. It's the part where after they defeat Pennywise, they get lost in the sewer, and the losers are basically they're losing morale. They don't know how to get out of the sewers and stuff like that. So Beverly concocts this idea of basically fornicating with each one individually, to basically bring the group back together, bring the group back together, quote unquote. And she does in the book. And I mean, it's like it's pretty much at the end. I mean, I have the hardback, and I think it's like around 1090, 1092, somewhere in there. So, and it's really, really fucking. When I first started reading it, I had to put the book down and be like, man, I don't know if I can read this shit. Because in the book she's 11 and the kids are 11. And Stephen King has gone on record defending this shit and saying that basically it's I believe something he said was it's to the effect of the loss of innocence, right? And so I was like, all right, I'm going to just man the fuck up, read this thing. And from what I can gather, and I said, listen, look, no matter what, I'm just going to be objective about it. I'm going to put my personal beliefs aside. Personally, I don't think Stephen King should have fucking wrote it. He should have just kept that shit out. Personally, I don't. That is fucking no. Especially being in a fucking sewer, it's dirty. It's like you got to worry about fucking diseases, worry about being fucking cruded up. I mean, even with adults, man. I mean, that's just fucking no. Even if they were adult, no, you don't need to fucking push that envelope, man. I mean, you already got horror enough. I mean, when you're talking about horror, I mean that's true horror right there. And so, from what I gather from reading the pages, you know, number one, all the boys are nervous, and one of the things that and some things Stephen King does go into detail about Bev's thoughts and stuff, and how like one boy hurts more than another one and stuff like that, and I guess, and I think the thing is that like when her father would sexually molest her and rape her, like she would be thinking about other things, right? She would go to like a happy place. And so in this one, and this time though, it's kind of like the only thing I can like really objectively try to figure out, because I'm not fucking Stephen King and I'm not wrote it, and I don't know if this guy was liquored up when he fucking wrote it or not, because there's shit that he's written that he doesn't fucking remember writing it because he was such a fucking belligerent alcoholic, and he still, and I'm like, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, because I've known alcoholic people and I've had alcoholic people in my family, so, and I've lived with alcoholic people in my family. So, and Stephen King still considers himself an alcoholic to this day, even though he's been like over 20 years sober. So I don't know if he was liquored up when he fucking wrote this shit, but it's the only objective thing that I can think of is that basically it's her taking back the power of being a female, right? That's the only thing that basically she wanted to do this, where when it was with her father, it's totally wrong because it's her dad, but she's being forced to do it. And on so many fucking levels it's wrong. Him being an adult, her being fucking 11. I mean, it's so many levels. It's just wrong. But in this case, the only thing I can think objectively viewing it is that it's her taking back control and feeling empowered for being a female, where her father took that away from her, where she had to feel like being, like she had to be like a tomboy or more boyish, like cutting her hair and stuff like that. So her father probably wouldn't sexually assault her and rape her, and like reading it and reading the details, that's what it seemed like to me. Just my perspective, my point of view on it. Should he have not had it in the book? You fucking ain't right. He should have never had that in the book. He shouldn't. But it's a part of his story. He's a storyteller. If you don't like it, you don't have to fucking read it. Even if you read it, you don't have to read it again. I don't have to fucking read it again. But trying to break down the psychology, the psyche of what was going on at that time when Stephen King wrote it, that's the only thing I could really come up with. That, I mean, and then there's the other thing too of where, if it was a woman writer like Laurel K. Hamilton or Anne Rice, would they have wrote that shit? I mean, that's another thing that you gotta, like Laurel K. Hamilton, she's a horror writer, and I know that Anne Rice is more horror / romance because of Lestat and Interview with Vampire and the Vampire Lestat and all that series and shit, the Witching Hour and stuff like that. Or but it's like you have to see, would, if it was a female writer, and I'm not talking about fucking gender here, I'm talking about like a female sex, like a female, right? Like her sex is female, not fucking gender or any of that shit. And somebody wants to fucking hate me for just I'm not trying to have like some gender bias or gender discrimination or anything like that, but it's But having a female who's biologically their sex is female, they were born female, like Laurel K. Hamilton, you know, as far as I know, she's heterosexual, or she doesn't believe to be a male. She believes to be female. Even if she's not heterosexual, even if she's homosexual, who fucking cares? She's a female writer. Would she have done that? She would does she think that it's right for it to be? Now, if a female writer came along and pointed out certain things that, yeah, you know, I probably would have written it this way rather than King writing it that way. But at the end of the day, it probably would have stayed in my version. Then I would be like, okay. Then I would reanalyze, rethink on it, you know, contemplate, and be okay. Still, I would be, I just personally, I would be, you know, then it's at the writer's, then if she's saying it, then it's at the writer's discretion. You know what I'm saying? But as far as I fucking know, okay, now this is just, I don't know if any female writers have defended King on this shit. I know that King's defended his fucking own writing and his own fucking thing, his own work of Beverly getting fornicating with all the male members of the Losers Club, and what's really appalling about it is that all of a sudden, right, Eddie, who's like the smart one, I guess, of the group, figures out that, yeah, we should have we made a right turn when we should have made two lefts, and actually we should have made a couple of more mistakes back along the way, but if we make the two lefts like I was talking about, I can get us back on the right path. And then it just ends, and then it goes back to fucking, then it goes to the next, like, okay, then it goes like to the next scene, right, where they're all fucking back home or whatever. They're out of the sewers. And it's just like, what the fuck? That's where I have like the biggest issues with it. And that's why, yeah, man, it's like you should never wrote it in the first place, man. I mean, that's just fucking, I mean, it's just, and you know, because Stephen King has also said that, listen, look, and he does make a good argument, because on one hand, it's like people don't really have problems with the child killing, but they sure as fuck have problems with. Now, he does make a good argument, but the argument doesn't hold water too much in my book, because like I was saying, he says that basically people don't have problems with child killing, but they have problems with Beverly doing this act, you know, and the Losers Club doing this act. And it's like, yeah, because she's going to have to live with that the rest of her fucking life, man. And they are too. And basically, and also too, it's that now that all, and none of them speak a word of it. Basically, it's a silent pact between all seven of them that it is never brought up again. That's the other thing too. And that's where trying being the key word, trying to look at it objectively, it's where I'm just, I don't like it. It's like, I think one of my brothers put it ways where it's like, listen, look, man, you got to look at certain things the way you may not like something, you may not understand something, and you may not trust it, or you may not respect it, or you respect it. So, do I like it? No. Hell no. Do I understand it? I'm trying. Do I respect it? I don't know. I don't. If I'm being perfectly honest, I mean, I respect Stephen King as a writer, and I respect that it is his material, and it is not he who should put mores or morals. You should not be the dictator of fucking morals for people, right? Or being a civilized individual, or being self-conscious of people having compassion, stuff like that, or being a fucking hero, or a leader of people. You know, especially it's fucking a book that's fiction. You know, it is the own person's discretion and accountability and responsibility to take in the information and digest it and bring of it as they see, you know, interpret it as they do, whether it's right or wrong. And so yeah, I'm trying to understand where, like I said, I mean, I don't think it's right. I'm trying to understand where Stephen King's psyche was at the time, and the whole, do I respect it? I mean, that's just, I don't know. I don't know. But I do believe this, that it is the writer's decision. It is their free will to have whatever story that they're going to tell, that they can do that. It's their story, and it's the human, it's each individual being's discretion and discipline whether or not they read that and digest that and think on that and contemplate on that as they see fit. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard to read for me, and I read it because I wanted to try and have an objective opinion about it, and not a subjective opinion about, which I do, which I know I do, but I tried to look at it through an objective lens. It just set away my biases or bias, and just read it for what it is, and try to understand where the fuck Stephen King was coming from, and why he had it in the damn book in the first place, and why he thought that it's appropriate. But like I said before, it's his story, and you know, it's our discretion as individuals to take that knowledge in as we see fit, whether or not you want to or not. So, but yeah, yeah. So with that being said, there is one more thing. Oh yeah, and there is one thing that I did want to talk about, like about Stephen King as well. I know, like in a video, I think it was my thoughts, or one video that I said, where Stephen King basically said something to the effect, and I have it up here, where he said that basically the military, and now I'm not saying this verbatim, but I will say it verbatim, but I am paraphrasing this right now, that basically he said to a group of high school people that that if you're illiterate illiterate or illiterate, that you're either going to join the army or go sent overseas to Iraq. Which, as a man who's been in multiple combat deployments, okay, a part of OEF, Operation Enduring Freedom, Afghanistan, and Operation Iraqi Freedom, OIF, Operation Iraqi Freedom, that is a total crock of shit, and Stephen King don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Because there's a thing called the ASVAB, and actually you have to pass a certain percentage. You have to know basic fucking arithmetic, and you have to have at least a basic fucking knowledge of reading comprehension. Like you have to have like a good you have to understand reading comprehension, or they're not going to let you in. Now I can tell you this: when I was in, and I see motherfuckers pass like giving waivers like convicted felons. And that ain't no fucking lie. Whether or not you want to believe that shit, I really don't give a damn. It's the truth. I've seen convicted felons get fucking waivers because the military was so fucking hard up. Now, whether or not they passed the fucking ASVAB, that's another total fucking story. But I mean, at least if they weren't illiterate, because they probably fucking weren't, because you had to pass the damn ASVAB to do it, to swear in and go through a basic training in AIT, at least in the Army. And that's the thing, is that and in the Marines are even more strict, because in the Army you could have a GED. The Marines, you actually have to have at least a high school fucking diploma. They actually want you to graduate high school. You can't go in with a GED. You can't. At least when I was in. When I went to fucking MEPS many moons ago, when the war kicked off. I was in college when the war kicked off. When I signed into the DEP program, delayed entry program. But now I'm going on a total rant. But the thing about Stephen King saying that's a crock of shit. Now I will say this: Stephen King, he did do his country some type of justice, because instead of being a draft dodger, he went to his local MEPS station when the Vietnam War kicked off. And they basically told him that he was unfit to go into the military, because his vision was like really bad. It was like really poor, and like I guess he wore like really thick glasses. He was flat-footed, and I can't remember. There was another thing that I read that he had too, but I can't remember off the top of my head. There were like 3 things fucking fucked up wrong, and basically from his recollection, the medical examiner said something to the effect of, "Wow, you're all messed up, son," and basically and said that he was unfit for military duty. Now, fucking Stephen King at that time went to the University of Maine and started protesting against the Vietnam War. Well, I have problems with protesting war in general myself, and I'm not going to get into it. But listen, look, man, it's like a war's a machine. You're not going to stop it. Okay. It's not. You're not going to stop it. It stops when it stops. You can protest all you want to. It's different than like civil rights protesting and protesting for individual and being equal rights. I mean, it's two different animals, 2 different types of protests. Just like that block of Wall Street shit. It's 2 different types of protests. War is a machine that you won't stop. The people in power stop that shit. People overseas are just doing, soldiers, airmen, Marines, seamen, Coast Guard people who go overseas too. They're just doing their fucking jobs. They are a symbol of the United States. And it's motherfucking assholes like the Westboro Baptist Church, those fucking people that, and they're protesting of soldiers at soldiers' funerals, nonetheless, that just gets my blood boiling, like on a reel. And but going back to Stephen King, it's like his I mean, yeah, he was young, and you know, it's like the 60s, so hindsight's 2020. But at the end of the day, even it's like you just got to look at it like there was, I believe there's a total, I was reading that there was a five, the Vietnam War went through 5 presidencies and started with Truman, because Truman actually made some back end deals with I think the French or some shit, supplying them with stuff to go against the Vietnamese and shit like that. I believe, I can't really, my memory's a little hazy, but I do remember Truman was the one who kind of started it off, but it was more of out of sight, out of mind type shit. Kind of how like FDR was supplying weapons for the English and the Europeans overseas with the Nazis and stuff like that. The Socialist Party of Germany at that time, because FDR foresaw that shit coming over to us. So it was only a matter of time when Hitler would do that shit, the same shit, because he wasn't stopping. But yeah, you're not going to stop it. It's just, it doesn't. It's a different animal. That's a fucking machine that not going to break down for you or anybody else. It breaks down when it wants to. When it's like, I'm fucking tired. I mean, that's like still to this day. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, the Operation Enduring Freedom, or whatever the fuck it is now. I mean, because it's probably something else. I mean, we still have troops in Afghanistan. Still, there's still a war going on, as far as I fucking know. And yeah, but it's just not televised like it used to when I was in and stuff like that. But yeah, I and then so the whole illiterate, and I have this article up about Stephen King, kind of like, so I believe in May of 2008 he said that to a group of high schoolers, about, because basically the quote is, I don't want to sound like an ad, a public service ad on TV, but the fact is, you can read, you can walk to a job later on. If you don't, then you've got the Army, Iraq, I don't know, something like that. It's not as bright. So that's my little commercial for that. And now he's gone back and said, because as of December, so what, 5 years ago this was, he said that basically the article says the author lamented, and this is Stephen King saying, no, that was just a case of misspeaking, and also having one of those brain cramps that you realize that you're no longer living in the world that you grew up in. If I could take one remark back, that would be the one. And he's replying to what he said to people about being like illiterate and stuff like that. Because I mean, yeah, I don't think, I mean, it doesn't say it in this, but I read another one where it was like, yeah, where it did comment on King saying, yeah, if you're illiterate, yeah, well, yeah, but the fact is, if you can read, you can walk into a job later on. If you don't, basically being, okay, so yeah, it does. If you don't, then you've got the Army. basically saying, yeah, if you're, so yeah, he just doesn't use the word illiterate. So yeah, so I was right. But yeah, so that's and no, you have to have some type of reading comprehension, a basic reading comprehension. So yeah, Stephen King at that time was full of shit. But yeah, I mean, him taking it back, the remark, I'm happy that I actually learned that, because I know on the podcast, the live stream, I was very irate when I learned about that shit. And but yeah, I'm glad he took it back. So, and I've been going on for an hour and 40 minutes now, and I still cannot think of the damn thing that I was trying to think of before. Yeah. The one final thing. Shit. If I can remember it, I'll probably go back and watch this. And if I can remember, when I watch it chapter 2, I'll probably remark on it. A thing I was gonna talk about, because it's just racking my brain. But that being said, hey everybody, thank you so much for watching the first episode of Filmlites. I'm probably going to be doing some more. I don't know when. I don't know if it's going to be weekly or if it's going to be, it ain't going to be monthly. Or it's not going to be I may do another one maybe this weekend. I don't know. It just, whenever I feel like it. I mean, listen, look, I mean, the best thing you could do for the show, I mean, if you like it, if you want the show to get exposure, share it with a friend, share it with multiple friends. If you don't like it, then that's cool. I mean, comment below and let me know if you want your thoughts on it. If maybe I'm doing a bill where I'm kind of like stuttering, or I can't finish the sentence without pausing. Or hey, if you've watched it chapter 1, tell me your thoughts about it. Comment if you liked it or not, or if you see things, or if you've read, or like the scenario in the It book. I mean, if I would really enjoy to hear your thoughts about anything related to this to what I said in the podcast. So yeah, and yeah, I'm still trying to think of that damn thing, and I can't. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna delay this any longer. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I really do appreciate it, and I really do hope that I can get back on a regular schedule again of doing more videos and stuff, because I love doing this stuff. I really do. I love doing the YouTubing stuff. And you know what? Even if I don't crack 100 subscribers, I mean, it's totally cool. I mean, or even if I don't get monetized for doing this stuff, it's totally cool. I mean, I do it because I love it, and I'm gonna do more of these film lights because I love film. And Filmlites is like, I'll give you a little background. I mean, light, LITE. I mean, it's basically, there's no added preservatives in this. There's no added sugars or carbs or anything like that. It's all natural. You know what I'm saying? None of that boo. No filler. Maybe some killer. But yeah, no, hell no. There ain't no filler in this bitch. Hell no. That's why it's film light. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's all natural shit. No filler in this shit. So, but yeah, like I said before, like the video, share it with a friend, share it with multiple, and thank you once again, everybody, for watching. And like I said before, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on anything that you want to talk about. Totally cool. I'll read them. And last but not least, shit. I stumped myself because I'm trying to remember my tagline. Fuck. I'm just gonna say bye. Yeah, okay. No, I'm not. I'm gonna. Just give me a second. Um, what the hell is it? It goes like. Uh, it's a. Oh yeah. Love to all. God bless, and as always, you know it. Aloha. There we go.